My name is Laura Kelland-May, and I'm from Thistle Ridge Stables. I'm a senior judge, and I hope to get done today and with these Ustream videos to share with everybody on what the judge is looking for. And I've got about 20 years experience judging, and I've seen some things that maybe other judges haven't seen, and I'd like to share some of those with you. Today we're going to talk about under saddle classes and hack classes and what is the difference. So we're going to get started there. Now if you have a question, I would encourage you to type in a Q with a colon on the chat, and you have a question, and we'll do it right in there. And also there's some other things that I can do here today as well, and one of them is ask anybody who wants to invite viewers to be a co-host with me, and that's kind of a fun thing to do too. Alright, so I've got some documentation here. If you want the documentation regarding what the difference is between a hack class and an under saddle class, I'd be happy to share it with you. So the big difference between a hack class and an under saddle class is specifically if the hunter hack is in the hunter division, the hunter hack has to jump 2 fences depending on the division that it's entered in. So if it's a green hunter hack class, then it has to jump 2 green hunter hack fences. And if it's a open hunter hack, then it has to jump the open hunter class heights of fences. And the undersaddle class is strictly undersaddle without any jumps in it whatsoever. So the interesting thing about this is that they're similar in that they are being asked to judge the hunters are being asked to perform over fences in the over fences part, and then in the under saddle part it's strictly the flat part unless you do the hunter hack, which is supposed to mimic the hunters that when they were going from the stable to the hunt, or when you're hunting out in the field, it's supposed to be the representation of how you would hack or how you would ride to the hunt or home from the hunt, and if there were a couple obstacles along the way, then you would go over them. The under saddle is strictly a under saddle part where you're judging the horse on its movement and way of going, whereas the hunter hack also includes a couple of fences. Now there's also hack division, which is really interesting, and there are 3 classes in the hack division. There's the show hack, road hack, and pleasure horse, and that's a separate division from the hunters, where the hunter is over the fences, what we think of a person riding a horse to the hounds is how its history was. The hack division is what you would think a recreational rider would want to have in the way of a horse. And there's 3 different classes for that: show hack, pleasure horse, and the road hack. And they have 3 different divisions. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But the hunter under saddle, the horses should be obedient, alert, responsive, and move freely. And that's in the rule book. If you look, if you're in the US, the USEF, United States Equestrian Federation.org. You can download the rule book right there online. And if you're from Canada, the equinecanada.ca, equinecanada.ca, they have their rule book online as well, and you can download that and review the rules. If you are showing, I recommend certainly that you read the rule book. So I'm just going to take a quick check here to see if there's anybody else here watching. Oh, here we go. Hi there, Nifty Quarter Horse. You complete at hunter under saddle. My horse is still green. How heavily will he be penalized for this? He's getting better. His head comes up on the lope transition upward. Fiona UK. Thank you very much, Fiona UK, for your question, and that's really great. Nifty Quarter Horse, you show in are these quarter horse AQHA, quarter horse, under saddle classes, or recognized under saddle classes. You just want to know about that. And yes, if you're in a class with a lot of very lovely horses that are hacking and going around very well, you should, as a judge, you would notice that the horse's head comes up. But it's mostly and that to me would be a minor fault. You would consider a major fault being bucking, shying, running away, taking a wrong lead. But ideally, you would want your horse's head to stay down, and you would be penalized slightly for it. But if your horse is going nicely, then it would be a minor fault. However, having said that, if you have a group of very lovely horses and they're all performing very nicely and keep their heads down and stretched out, down and low, you may get penalized. If it's a tie-breaking situation, then the tie would go to the horse that performs nicely. So that would be okay. So Nifty does say it's a quarter horse show. So I think that if you're in a group of horses that are all equal, that would certainly be a tiebreaker for me. But if your horse's way of going, movement, and suitability is he ground covering? Is he low? Is he moving out nicely? Does he have a fluid, expressive movement? Those things to me are more important, and I would continue to work on getting his head down through the transition. That's one of the last things to come through, isn't it? It's when the horse pops his head up just for that split second when they're going through that upper transition. That's one thing that's difficult to get going. So I would say it's a minor setback for you, and I would continue to work on it, and it would be a minor thing in my eyes. Somebody else may say, I never place horses that toss their head up. I, on the other hand, look mostly at their way of going, how they're moving in the gaits, and if they're obedient going up into the canter, up into the trot from a walk, then obedience, yes, and then the nuances of that transition would come after that. So the question was, if the horse's head comes up, would it be a major fault? To me, it wouldn't be a major fault. The way of going, long, flowing, and relaxed trot, canter, covering ground is more important to me in a fluid manner. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe you could tell us, Nifty Quarter Horse, if I didn't check the AQHA requirements for under saddle. I know that in the US EF and also the Equine Canada rules, you must enter and complete a round of over fences before you can compete in the hunter under saddle. So I'm wondering if you could tell us about that. That's a great question, and thanks very much for that.